Presumably, this individual sees us, right? Like, I mean, we're not
That is
exactly
very
sneakers.
apparent as you, the closer you get, the figure kind of turns towards you. You're close enough that you'd be able to yell.
Aye! You come in peace, or what are you looking for?
So the morning comes. So this is now the 34th day of First Flow. It is a little bit cloudy and overcast this morning. It rained a good bit throughout the evening, into the night, and it definitely it feels and smells like it. It's damp. You can smell the earth, all from all the rain and everything.
Is it muddy?
Not particularly muddy, because it wasn't raining super hard, but it's, you can definitely feel the water as you walk through the grass. Anything you guys want to do this morning before you pack up and get on the way?
Not if it's not muddy.
I'm sure you could find some mud if you looked for it, Orlo.
I don't want to have to look for it.
You guys put out the fire, knock down the lean-to, get everything packed up, and start moving. If you would like to attempt your animal handling with the owlbear again, both of you please go ahead and make an animal handling check this time.
7.
14. I'm getting better.
You know what? Emmerin's gonna try this time. He's gonna see these two trying to be like, how hard could it fucking be to make an animal like you? 17.
God damn it. God
I hate you
damn
so
it.
damn much.
So
that's really what I was hoping for. I believed in the spirit of the dice there. And,
Laya and Orlo, you much to the same as yesterday, kind of you invest a little bit of time and try to spend some time with Steve, and nothing really much changes. You can tell that he's definitely warming up to you, but nothing exceptional happens until Emmerin walks up. And Emmerin, do you want to go ahead and give a small example of what you would do?
sure. So he approaches like super careful. Doesn't want to get bit again. So he's got his hands up by his side, and he really slowly reaches down to his pack, pulls out a ration, cracks it in half, puts a piece in his mouth, and then throws it on the ground like we're sharing a meal kind of thing. And then if he gets it all snappy at him, he's gonna just kind of like not challenge him, but give him like a little, what was that guy's name? Caesar Milan, like that. Give it to him like on the neck kind of thing. Just be like, no, you don't bite me. No, you don't bite me. Biting's bad. And then when he eats the ration, give him a little scratch behind the ear and be like, that's a good boy.
So you guys watch all of this happen, and he does get a little bitey at first, but you give him the business, and as you kind of reach out and scratch him behind the ear, you can tell like that he kind of like leans into it a little bit, and he puts a little bit of his body weight like in towards you, and you can definitely sense that what you were going for happens.
I am very grumpy about this.
Laya, can you believe this? We do all this work to make this owlbear friendly, and he comes in and swoops in at the very end.
It's like, it's like we loosened the lid for him,
Right. Yeah. We, warmed up the cork, so to speak.
Well, they say the last 2%'s the hardest to get out. That's why they leave it in the milk. And he just gives the guy a pat on the head and he walks away.
That almost.
Yeah, I just quoted the vulture.
That I literally just almost choked on my water.
So you continue on, and again, as the day kind of draws on, it starts to get a little bit rainy again. Just another very light rain, much like it was yesterday. But the majority of the journey is very unexciting. You are starting to cross towards the very end of it, to a point that you are starting to think seems a bit familiar. And this is where you came out of the river and made your way down to the road, before you made it to Barisa. And you can see, as it's starting to kind of get a little bit darker in the evening, that you're coming up on the bridge and the town that you had visited before. Rogak seems to be in pretty good spirits. He's excited to almost be home, and get back to tending his gardens and doing his normal activities without a crab claw. But as you guys are making your way into town, you cross over the bridge. You know that there's very few people, if any, that live in this town other than Rogak. But you see this kind of silhouetted figure up against some of the buildings. It looks like probably a person on a horse, if you had to guess, off in the distance a little bit. As you guys kind of see this, what would you do?
Em will probably like throw his hand up in like a no, wait. He'll turn to Rogak and just like, friend of yours?
The owlbear doesn't stop, by the way.
Steve! Steve!
And I'll just like kind of have my hand resting on the butt of my rapier.
And as you ask Rogak, as he's kind of passing you, he tries to kind of talk. I don't recognize this person at all. We don't keep horses around here. And he's just kind of like, the cart slowly drags past you.
I am going to walk like backwards, facing where the noise is coming from, but also like with the cart, so the cart doesn't just go off into the river or fall in a well or
Any of the
cliff.
I could be crazy, but I'm pretty sure Zam just said I'm gonna walk backwards towards the thing that I'm looking at.
No, I'm facing like you guys and where the noise is, but walking backwards away from it with the cart. Like my back is to the cart.
I thought the cart was traveling towards the horse.
Is the cart traveling towards the horse?
So as you guys are coming into town, it is heading towards the horse. Yes. Thank
So
you,
I'm walking-
Emmerin.
Oh, okay.
Walking backwards towards the
He's walking
What are we
backwards, looking over his shoulder. He's moonwalking with the.
I thought it was coming from behind us. Okay.
The figure is in front of you, where
Okay.
the cart, your back, and the owlbear are headed.
Okay. So I turn around and I start facing it, but I run ahead, so I'm ahead of Steve, and I'm
Okay.
between Steve and the sound of
Do you
the
get
horse
out
or whatever.
in front of Steve?
Yeah, pretty much.
He stops.
Good boy, Steve.
I just like
He kind
pat
of
him
like
on the
makes
head.
a little like cackle like in like the bottom of his throat as he like looks at you.
And I just
like
keep
he's been fucking with us the whole time.
I just keep staring ahead.
Presumably, this individual sees us, right? Like, I mean, we're not
That is
exactly
very
sneaky.
apparent as you the closer you get, the figure kind of turns towards you. So
Aye.
yeah, so you're close enough that you'd be able to yell.
Aye. You come in peace, or what are you looking for?
If you would, kind sir, would you describe what they are looking at now that they are closer to you?
Yeah, so as you guys come up, you'll see figure seated on a horse. He's like it's hard to tell. He's got splint mail on, and he's got like a white woolen half cape, and he's got a shield over his right arm. And on the shield, there's a white flower on a green stem, and he's got a sword on one hip, and there's a little axe on his saddle. He's got saddlebags. It's pretty apparent that he's been on the road for a while, and it's like a big gray horse. And this guy's kind of medium-sized. He's a human. He's got kind of reddish blonde hair that's pretty long, comes down almost to his shoulders, and he's got a bright red mustache and a little goatee under his chin. And he says, "Hail and well met, friends. Y'all don't happen to be locals, do you? On something of a quest."
Duck, would I recognize what the coat of arms was with the white flower and the green stem?
You would not be directly familiar. You would have seen it before, but you wouldn't know immediately what it is. Orlo, you are the closest person.
I'm sorry. Are we speaking the same language?
I suppose so. I can understand you. I have something of a Western accent.
Western from where?
From here.
Yeah.
Is this not the Golden City of Barisa? I may have gotten turned around on the road.
No, I heard you say Barisa. That's over there, behind you.
Right. Seems a little sparse around here. Are y'all locals? Would you know of the goings on in Barisa?
Not local to here or anywhere around, but our friend back here is.
And as you say that, you see Rogak kind of like climbing his way out of the back of the cart. And as he kind of walks around, giving Steve a wide berth of his face yet again, he kind of like looks at you and looks at your armor, sees the horse, and looks at you again and goes, I am local. It's been a few weeks, I suppose, that I've been home, but I would be your best contact, I suppose, out of the group here.
Well, thank you, sir. I forget myself. My name is Sir Roland Baptiste Beauregard. I'm a Chevalier of the Order of the Fleur Blanc.
And
I'm here.
Gives you a small bow and says, "Well met, sir."
Thank you, sir. I'm seeking a brother knight of my order, a Michel d'Augustine. He is a broad fellow with a bald head, keeps a black mustache. He likes to drink. Has he been through here?
When would you have been expecting him to have been through this area?
He would have been perhaps 3 months before me. He came here seeking some of the old potion masters.
He pauses for a moment, runs his fingers kind of just across, like through his hair, and my memory is a bit off as of late. These kind folk behind me would understand a bit more why, but it's not important. I do seem to remember someone fitting a relative description of that not too long ago, yes. But unfortunately, as you can see, at least for the time being, there are very few of us left at all.
Yes, sir, there's quite a lot of that going around, I'm afraid. Michel would have had his squire with him as well, a boy of about 17, little Jean. Eugene Lamont is his name. Tall fella, scraggly. He would have been nervous, I think. He's not very good at talking to strangers.
Looked like he needed to eat about 10 of these as he kind of gestures towards Steve behind him. And he,
That's
like,
the boy.
as he does, kind of like leans away just to make sure he's not going to get the shit smacked out of him. Yes, I do seem to recall this. They came, as you said, looking for some of my kind, but I unfortunately am one of the only ones left.
Oh. Well, it is a bit of good luck then that I found you. And you all, very well met to you as well. I take it from your armament. You are campaigners like myself, or perhaps an ill-equipped circus.
I beg your pardon.
You have a trained owl bear, ma'am.
Well, trained is being generous.
Yeah, generous, yeah.
And he snaps at both of you as you say that.
First
Say no
off,
more.
the owlbear is not for eating, Rogak. I smacked the shit out of you when you were a crab, and I'll do it a fucking again.
It was
Secondly-
just an example.
And he just gives him the eyes, like, watching you. Rogak, you know this Order of the Fleur Blanc? You know much about them?
Much is a strong word, but I do know of them.
If I may interrupt, sir. We are an order of knights pledged to the Archon Maieres, patron of civilization.
What was that? Archon what?
Maris, yes. You would be familiar with this, Emmerin. It's one of the main pantheon of archons that are part of the world. Not that you specifically subscribe to that, as your order specifically generally avoids them. But you would be familiar with the name.
Do I know about the people that worship this particular Archon as being anything in particular? Would we consider them arseholes?
Generally speaking, especially for that, they are just people who believe in keeping in a level society, right? Making sure that things run and operate as a normal world would dictate. So, where things are right now is very not good.
And so Emmerin will be like, yeah, the cavalry's here then, is it?
It certainly would appear so, sir.
Are you good? Anyway, yeah, no, I haven't seen your man.
That is a shame.
If I had to guess, I know where they headed out from, and they seem to be heading south now. Granted, that was quite some time ago, but I know that that's relatively the same direction as my friends here are headed. And he kind of looks at Gad, and Gad's just like still rocking back and forth in like the back of the cart, just fucking losing his shit still. And he looks back at him and goes, him as well.
Oh, poor thing.
You don't know the half of it.
So, Rogak, are you getting off here then?
Yes, I I need to tend to many of the things I've missed over the past few weeks. I sincerely appreciate your help as always, and you are always welcome here anytime.
Do you think we should rest here for the night before we head down to Padstow?
I would most certainly recommend it. It is going to be a long trip if you head out now. You know how lovely it is out in the woods at night.
Yeah, what time of day is it?
At this point, it is getting on dusk, so roughly 7 o'clock.
All right, well, shall we set up then? Holy man, you want to share the fire with us tonight, or you have something to do?
Oh, yes, of course. I would be delighted.
And
It's-
Rogak kind of puts on a small smile and goes, I'll make some soup.
His soup is just lovely.
It actually is pretty good. I can't argue.
It's so wonderful to meet some people on the road who, for once, don't want to kill me.
We could say the same about you. I'm
So I don't know-
Maya, by the way, and I'll do a little curtsy.
Emmerin, did we say that?
I was going to say, well, we aren't sure on that one yet, but so far so good.
Can you two behave for once? Just, show an ounce of civility.
You're just excited to have someone else with an equally large stick up their arse.
How dare you?
I just
No,
hold
sir, that would
Bonebreaker
make-
up.
That would make riding very uncomfortable. Like, keep the stick in the pack when I'm up on Max here. Oh, this is my grumpy gray friend Max. And Roland kind of pats the neck of his horse.
Roland, Max, I'm Emmerin.
Oh,
That one's Orlo.
And I'll,
I guess I'm
solo him.
I'm Orlo.
Orlo, Emmerin, Liar. Very nice to make your acquaintance.
And Steve kind of chirps in the background.
Oh, sorry, that's Steve.
Steve.
Buttonhead's around here somewhere.
Who?
Peeks his head up over who's currently wearing Buttonhead.
I suppose I will, since Orlo was like, you always have Buttonhead.
You were the last one to ask about him.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if he was coming with us.
You're in charge then.
So Buttonhead would be resting kind of like behind your head between like your back and your pack, and he kind of just like pokes his head up over your shoulder and just like gives a small wave.
Hello, friend.
As you guys have all been getting acquainted, Rogak has wandered off back towards his home, if you will, the temple in the near the square, and you know how to get there. So if you you start making your way that way, and
Orlo hangs back because Rogak said soup, and soup means spoons, and spoons. I take out the pouch.
Frogs.
And I dump a little bit of the powder in the watering can and like shake it up a little bit and then just start sipping on that as then I start to catch up again.
very well. By the time you guys have gotten there, Rogak's already preparing everything. He's gotten the fire started and some water. He's started to boil already. But as he started doing this, he's also started sweeping and kind of cleaning up a little bit because it's quite messy. He hasn't been there for quite a few days. And he gets everything cleaned up, gets the food and the soup going, and pulls out a few like sleeping bags and things of the nature and sets them around the fire. Sitting bags, excuse me, sets them around the fire, and gets everything set up for dinner. Is there anything that you other than Orlo, obviously want to be doing in the meantime until dinner?
You said this.
Yeah, good.
Oh, you said this was a temple.
It is an open air temple of sorts. It's their monastery. It's what their monastery used to be. It is. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to, but it's a big open building. It's all completely covered with a roof, but there's not many walls interior. It's a lot of pillars and just open space.
Like a Parthenon style situation.
Kind of, yeah.
Would there be a shrine to Maoris in there at all?
No, they did not worship any gods specifically. They are monks that are specifically devoted to tending this garden.
All right. Roland probably be just hanging out with everybody then and making conversation.
And I am going to make sure to stay away from the well, like just avoid it.
We're just gonna go check out the well.
What are you looking for, Emmerin?
Well, I got a pretty good look at the cauldron as Sorith kind of tossed it over. I'm just curious if there was like any markings that were the same. Is the quality of the water the same? Is there any semblance of Lady Hentai having been here? Like anything at all?
Give me a perception check, or perception or investigation. Either one works for me.
And +6 or +2. I'll take the +6. Fitting.
You give it a pretty good once over as you're waiting, but from what you can tell, it doesn't seem like there's anything particularly that stands out to you. It seems that it is a well that is drawn from the river. It is not particularly deep. It is just built into the square here. It's not anything unnatural from what you can tell.
Okay. Can I gaze down into it? Is it like, can you see how, is it like clear water? You can see how deep it is.
It's mostly clear. You can barely see the bottom. It's dark, and especially now as it's getting darker, it's difficult, but you could fathom a guess as to how deep it was.
All right. Then while I'm alone, I'm going to do my little ritual thing.
Okay.
That's just to, I'll sit with my back up against the well, carve, let the blood pool into my hands, and just sit and quietly sit for 15 to 20 minutes.
Can Orlo see that happening? Or is he too far away?
He's probably about, if he's sitting on the other side of the well, he's mostly covered, and he's about 70 meters or so away. So he's...
I would like to add this in. If I thought Orlo was watching, I would 100% want him to see it.
It would not be something that would be very apparent, but you would probably notice that if he was like looking and then all of a sudden just like disappeared for the most part.
Well, if Orlo does notice him doing his ritual, he immediately gets up and just kind of starts wandering around looking for spoons. I know there's bowls and spoons somewhere around here.
Yes, there are. They're all set out around the fire waiting for you. There's enough for all of you, and then there's also some that are just tucked away if you want to go looking for those as well.
I'm not going to go rummaging through Rogak's stuff, but I am just going to take like the 5-6 spoons or whatever that are there and pick them up and just start focusing all of my attention on those.
Laya and Sir Roland both would be sitting right there watching as you do this. Rogak is still kind of tending to the soup and cleaning and doing his own thing, but the two of them would be immediately right there.
Roland's gonna lean over to Laya and go, is he all right?
And I'll look over and see him gathering spoons and just like, oh, Orlo, please tell me you didn't.
Didn't what?
I just
So
if I'm
no.
if I'm going to be babysitting, can you at least just give me a warning?
You don't have to babysit anything. I'm going to be right here.
And
then I'm just looking at the spoons.
And I'll just look over at him. And Orlo enjoys some extracurriculars, shall we say?
Oh well, don't we all?
I'm a little worried he might enjoy them a little too much, if you catch my drift. But he's an adult, I suppose.
Well, being that big, one can assume.
Yes, adult.
In the meantime, Emmerin, you finish up with your ritual and head back to find Orlo sitting directly by the soup pot, just focusing the hell out of these spoons.
Enraptured even.
He's gonna come in and just like super casually pull out a chair, glance up at Orlo, look down at Laya, like, oh, into the spoons again, is he?
I'm afraid
Again?
so.
Ah, that'd good.
He does this every time.
It's something you gotta get used to. Rolly boy, I gotta tell you, he's a bit of an odd duck, but we love him, we like him, we tolerate him.
Oh, I tolerate you too.
A citizen of the road, then.
I just kind of pick up the spoons and walk over towards Roland and plop down next to him. Say, Roland, I can't really understand you too well, but have you ever looked into a spoon?
You know, thinking about it, sitting here, I don't know if I have.
Orlo, you don't need to bother him with your spoons. You are the only one who finds them interesting.
Interesting? There's so many answers in these.
I'm going to have to insist that you elaborate, Orlo.
Well, if you really have any questions that you need to ask, you really just need to look into the spoons. You'll find your answers there.
Emmerin's gonna put his head in his hands, like, Gak, do you have any booze sat around?
And I'm gonna take a good swig out of this wine. And then offer some to Sir Roland.
Roland's going to gladly accept and toast everybody and look at the spoons and then take a long draw out of the wineskin.
Orlo, out of curiosity, while you're extremely focused on these spoons, is there anything in particular that you're thinking about?
Just where things are gonna go, thinking about Padstow and worried about getting this dude home to where he is supposed to be and anything that may happen to us on the way.
Make an intelligence saving throw.
Great.
Oh my god.
That seems right.
That's a natural one.
That is the
Orlo now
third natural one of the evening.
This tracks.
has to spend the rest of his life thinking that he's a glass of orange juice.
So Orlo, you take 3 damage.
Oh god.
Your head just starts burning all of a sudden. As you're looking at these spoons, you think that they spell out a word.
I do.
Yeah, it kind of, as your head starts to burn, like this very aggressive migraine, right? And you see the spoons kind of like come in and out of focus, and as they start to do that, it looks like they spell out the word wheel, like WEAL.
And I just kind of like, Orlo just drops the spoons, like, and just starts holding his head. And he just starts repeating it over and over, just like, wheel, wheel, wheel.
Orlo, what is happening?
I don't know. For some reason, the spoons told me wheel.
Like a wheel?
No, not like a wheel, like a wheel.
Like a boon? Like a good omen, a wheel, as opposed to woe.
Sure. I'm not familiar with the word. I'm just trying to. I don't know.
It's phrasing that comes up a lot in old religious texts, especially in regards to oracles.
Yeah, sometimes the spoons tell me things that I don't know what they mean.
Oh, I thought you were bullshitting.
No.
Oh.
They think I'm bullshitting, but obviously.
I think that he's just crazy.
Well, what's crazy?
I turned into a giant crab man. That's pretty crazy if you ask me.
Okay, I know you're bullshitting.
No, it's true.
But me seeing a word that I don't understand in some spoons is crazy.
You're using drugs, Orlo.
Now, there's nothing wrong with using a little bit of drugs.
It just brings me revelations. I don't know how to say it.
Rips and revelations.